All right, now that you have your brainstorming complete, you're going to get a big piece of paper. The first thing you're going to do with this paper is you are going to fold it in half, because we're going to do two drawings, one side by side. So you're going to fold it in half and then use that so that you have two drawings side by side. Because we are drawing a sculpture and not just a drawing, one of the things compositionally we had to think about was making sure it's interesting from multiple angles. We've also got to figure out how it's going to look from multiple angles. So, just like this container right here, there you're going to draw two views. So on this side here, you're going to draw the side view. What is your teapot going to look like from the side? This is probably the view that you drew when you did your brainstorming. The other view that we're going to do is going to be a top view. So we're going to look down at the teapot. This is what's going to tell you when you're looking at something this way, you're only seeing it looks kind of flat. So you don't know if it's squarish or if it's rounded or if it's like a box or whether it's a circle, it's a sphere. When we look at it from the top, if this is a box, we're going to see it look like a square. If it's a sphere, you're going to see it look like a circle. So we're not going to draw this and try to make it look three-dimensional. We're going to draw this like a flat design. So this side here is a straight side view, and this side here is a straight top view. Okay, so your side view, one, you want to make it about as big as your hand, because this is going to be life size, and your teapot is going to be about as big as your hand drawn out. So you can even give yourself that kind of idea about how big it needs to be. So I don't want to see a tiny little drawing in the middle here. So you're going to start looking at your rough draft. Keep it light to start. Take your time. And draw out. Oop, I made it a little too big because it won't fit with its spout. So I gotta make this a little smaller. That's why I'm drawing it lightly so that it all fits. I want you to really take your time on this drawing. All right, now I'm gonna just get this kind of on here very quickly as kind of a rough version. Realize I want yours to look a lot better, but I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me draw a very detailed drawing. So, I forgot you want to make sure you have all your kind of details. So I've got my drawing here. Now the reason for this video is this you can pretty much do by yourself. It's moving from the side view to the top view that's going to be difficult. So if I look at the body of my teapot, I've got to decide, is this going to be a palette that's kind of flat and rectangular, or is it going to be round like a cylinder or a sphere? I think I want mine to be kind of a cylinder, so I'm going to start, once again, I'm going to put my hand here so I know. I'm going to start with a circle. Now my circle doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay. You don't have to draw these with you don't have to draw these with a compass or anything. So kind of get your circle there. You can always kind of tweak it a little bit. All right. So now I've got to decide, how is this hole, is this going to be a hole that goes into the teapot? I think so. So I think I want that to look like, so this right here is this line right here. So that kind of shape goes back there. So that's that part there sticking up. Maybe that kind of comes in like that. And maybe that kind of comes in like that. So I can kind of see that. And then it comes up and around. And then this part here I think I'm going to leave open. So until it comes to about here, that's my opening. So I'm going to make that look kind of like that. So there we go. So there's my opening for where my water's going in and how I'm going to be able to reach inside and make this thing. Then I've got to figure out how are these, I think I'm going to make these things kind of blobs that stick out. So that means when I'm seeing something like that, that's kind of like rounded, if it's looking round from the front, it's gonna stick out and kind of look, the sides are gonna be kind of square and it's gonna be round on the front. So I've got one here, so it's kind of gonna look like a blob here, and then maybe another blob. Now this one, because it's over here, see how it's gonna, if I'm looking down at it, it's gonna kind of overlap. So you've got to think about how do these things, this one's going to be almost directly underneath that one. So see how I'm looking at and figuring out how each thing fits underneath the other ones. And then there's another one here, and then there's another one here, and then there's one more here. And now I have to decide, am I going to do that same thing on the other side? I think I am, but I'm not going to make you guys watch me draw that. So I would draw all of these same things going the opposite direction, going this way. All right, so now I need my spout. So my spout, I think I made my whole thing a little too big. My spout is going to come forward. Now if I'm thinking about it, if it looks like this from the front view, I can turn it and figure out, okay, what is it going to look like from the side view? It's going to look like it's almost going straight. So I'm going to have it kind of come out, and then if I had enough space on my paper, it would come out like that. And then this, let's bring that in a little bit more so you can see it. So this would be my brush, and maybe I'll look at the shape of it and make sure it's looking like that brush that I want it to be. So truthfully, this should be longer, but I ran out of space on my paper, and I don't want to make you watch me erase all of it. So one of the things you might want to do so that you don't have this mistake like I just made is make sure that your teapot kind of, you can even turn your teapot kind of this way where there's a little bit more space for your spout to come out, or your handle to come over, so you can kind of turn your paper and go this way, so you could draw it this way and this way. Don't feel the need to draw it this way, because I'm finding I'm having a lot of problems because I drew mine nice and big. Alright, and then the handle. Now if the handle is round like this from this view, and we turn it, what's it going to look like? You're only going to see that top one to the end. So we're only going to see that top part, kind of like that. If I look, I can go over here and I can measure how far out does it go. That's about right. And then I need to draw, it needs to come in and come back out to that brush tip. Now I might see under here, that would be the bottom part of that brush. Now with that brush tip, I'm going to have to go in and really make it look like a brush. I can go get a Google image search and figure out what are the parts to a brush that I need. Maybe this part here needs to be a little straighter because that's the metal part, and then it goes out into the wooden part. But you want to slowly go in and add details now that you've got your front or your side view and your top view.